I was already having a tough time with 6-string, so I don't know what you're thinking.
I'm still having a hard time with 6-string too.
Yeah. But what do you got there?
So this is a 7-string custom-made Eastman guitar that I had made for me.
Eastman guitars.
Yeah.
You play a few of theirs, right?
Yeah, I have a couple of the guitars, and they're 7-string guitars only. And I got into first I got into 7-string because I studied with this guy in New York named Bucky Pizzarelli, who's like a master guitar player who used to study with a guy who's from the West Coast here who was inspired by him by a guy named George Van Epps.
Yep.
And he played 7-string. So I used to study just playing comping with Bucky, like Freddie Green, like that kind of stuff. But then Bucky always told me, look, why don't you play some 7-string guitar? I'm like, oh man, 7-string, I have a hard time with 6-string. And so, a few years ago, I did a concert with him, and I said, well, I'm going to get me a 7-string, but this is really cool. And ever since then, I haven't gone back, So what's really cool about the 7-string is that on my guitar, us jazz guys, if you want to call us jazz guys, we tuned the 7-string to an octave below the A string. It was almost in tune. Which I thought was weird because Bucky told me, well, you tune the 7-string to the A. I'm like, oh, really? But not to B. No, A. I said, okay. Because, now I was used to it because I used to play 5-string bass, and 5-string bass you put a low B, but in jazz, George Van Epps used to play an A, and that's what Bucky does, and other guys who play 7-string. And in rock, they tune it to a low B. And in the Brazilian 7-string guys tune it to a low C. But I really like it because with the low A, you get a real low note. Like if you go up to a bass player in the band and say, play your A string, and he'll hit his A string, and you hit your A string, it's exactly the same note. So you're right there with the bass player, which is really cool. So
not for the bass player.
Yeah, watch out now. Some of the bass players, when I play that bass string, some say to me, "You want to play the bass?" And I'm saying, "No, don't play that note again." Okay, sir, okay. But some guys like, I love it, man. Play that bass, and I can take a solo way up here in thumb position.
Yeah, right.
So it depends on the guy. So you just always ask. But what's really, this is really good for me because I like to play the 7-string by myself. And 7-string guitar is good for solo guitar work. So it sounds like you sound like a band by yourself. You can go. So now I could just accompany myself on solo guitar gigs. I could do duos with all kinds of singers, and I do a lot of duo gigs now because of the 7-string. And it really adds fullness to a whole band. I mean, to like a duo situation. And I've done gigs with drums and guitar now because there's no bass player, and they want me to play 7-string as a specialty. So it's really cool. So now, so that's why I play it still, and it's really great for solo guitar, and it really opens up my brain at least to like some new stuff that I've never done before.
So when you're playing in like a larger group, you typically play your 6-string?
Yeah, I don't play. No, if I play in a larger group, I still play the 7-string, but I don't play the 7-string. That's all.
Oh, okay.
I leave it out.
Got it.
And I mean, I leave it out, and because this is a bass player. But if the bass player is like taking a bass solo, I might throw it in there.
Yeah.